seminar, this leadership journey that we would have embarked on several weeks ago. And we are going to be diving into a very important aspect of leadership and looking at one of the roles of a leader. Now, if we are to put a number to it, there are several different roles that a leader plays, whether it's within an organization, within the business, within a group setting. Apart from just being the motivator, apart from being a mentor, the leader is responsible for assisting the team to resolve issues and challenges. And I use the word assisting simply because a leader is not a true leader if the person just comes and they would want to fix everything that happens within that setting. If the person just becomes the fix it person, then they're not allowing other persons to grow and to become empowered and to learn from those challenges so that if they encounter them again, they can actually utilize their skills to resolve them instead of having to run to that one individual. I think John Maxwell puts it very nicely in his quote when he says, leaders must be willing to let go of what worked yesterday and learn new ways of seeing, doing, and leading. And I would like to apply this when it comes to effective problem solving, because as a leader, you have to develop the aptitude to really understand what is currently happening right now, what is the source of that challenge, and be able to devise innovative ways of resolving it. Because what might have worked in a previous situation, what might have worked with a previous group of individuals, what might have worked with another organization may not work currently. So it is important that as a leader, you have an open mind where you can effectively problem solve. And sometimes it takes us as a leader to ensure that we work together with our team close enough that we can understand them, we can understand who the individual is, and what might be some possible solutions that they'll be more accepting of. And we also need to keep in mind that as a leader, we sometimes still need to maintain that line, that boundary where we can still push our team and get them involved collectively in the solution. So when it comes to effective problem solving, it is important, first of all, for us to just keep in mind what can be a simple definition of problem solving. And this in itself is the process that we will go through collectively to ensure that we move towards a common goal. And that goal is to find a solution to the current issue or challenge. And problem solving is very important, and it comes about when that path towards that goal is uncertain. We don't know exactly what do we need to do at this present time, but we do know that we have the capacity to achieve the end result. This process of problem solving involves us, first of all, being able to identify and define the problem, know what the issue really is, and this will see us being able to identify or determine what we refer to as the root cause of the problem. Very often, we find ourselves sometimes just dealing with the symptoms of the issue or the challenge. We expend our energies just dwelling on the symptoms and not really getting to the root cause of the problem. If that is not dealt with, it is bound to repeat itself. This process also involves us from identifying the issue to looking at the possible solutions and being able to prioritize them and determining which will actually work for this current issue. Once we identify and select that possible solution, then we will need to go and implement our strategy. And we can choose to implement a solution that can give us just a short term result. We can have one that is only focused on longer term results, or we can have a solution that can give us both an immediate short term solution that eventually feeds into longer term benefits. So I want to share with you 5 steps to effective problem solving that you can utilize within your organizations, your workplace, your businesses, your even your family or social lives that will really help you when it comes to ensuring that this process moves as smoothly as it possibly can. Step number one, it will be to identify the problem. When it comes to identifying the problem, it is important for us to not be carried away by just listening to opinions or hearsay. It is important for us to gather the facts surrounding the current issue so that we can ensure we are dealing with the actual problem and not someone's opinion of the problem. It is important for us to document those facts. We want to keep it very simple. It can be documented on a one-page sample so that we can have it there to make reference to it if needed. Step number two, we'd want to ensure that we define the necessary strategies that we can use to solve the current challenge or issue. And this is where it will require us to collectively work together through brainstorming. It can be sharing ideas via messages, etc., so that we can pull together our intellectual resources to find possible solutions for the current issue. Once we have those solutions identified, then we can determine how are we going to implement it, what strategy are we going to use, and this allows us to devise a strategy that we are going to be implementing to resolve that challenge. It is important for us to ensure that once we've identified the possible solutions that we are going to be using, it is now time for us to evaluate those possible solutions and their strategies. And we can do this by using some simple comparative tools. We can use an advantages and disadvantages method. We can use a scoring point method. So we can use one of those comparative tools that allows us to measure the potential impact of the strategy that we would like to implement. So once we're able to use that particular strategy, of course, identifying what may be the costs or the investment involved in implementing the strategy, and what are the possible benefits and their outcomes from implementing that strategy. When we have that listed down and using our comparative approach, we can then select which we determine to be the best method, the best strategy to implement currently. Once we identify that particular strategy to implement, we can then ensure that we act on it, which means just do it. Implement the strategy. And very often, we find that many supervisors, managers, etc., may reach to the point of identifying which strategy they want to use, and they either may fail to implement it or they allow time to pass, they procrastinate, and the impact of the strategy is no longer relevant because the dynamics of the situation may have changed either significantly or otherwise. So it is very important once you identify that strategy you're going to use, act on it, implement it as quickly as you possibly can. Step number five, ensure that we review the strategy that we have implemented. It is important for us to evaluate the strategy we've implemented to determine how useful the strategy was. Did it actually work to resolve the current challenge and or issue we were experiencing? And sometimes it may require us to go back to the drawing board to test another strategy simply because that one did not work. We may have missed something in either in our brainstorming activity or in our evaluation that may have caused the one that we chose to not to work the way we wanted to. So step number five requires us to evaluate the strategy as it is being implemented and to make sure that we can revise the strategy if the need comes up so that we can completely resolve the issue or the challenge that is before us. So, to repeat those 5 steps again, ensure you can identify the problem, make sure the problem is clearly defined so that the solutions that you're going to brainstorm can be suitable and impactful to resolve it. Evaluate your possible solutions to select the best one. 4, implement as quickly as you possibly can so that the solution can be relevant to the issue at hand. And number 5, you want to ensure that you evaluate if that solution actually worked or not and be ready to revise and or go back to the drawing board if necessary. This and other skills can be garnered once you attend the Live to Lead seminar. This is a leadership event that is hosted by the John Maxwell team. It is going to be live in Atlanta, Georgia on October 8th this year, and it will be simulcast to the host agent, which is us at Action Coach Guyana, and it allows us to be involved and to hear from renowned speakers, thought leaders, business owners who have gone through their personal growth journey and they're willing to share it with us. So you have the opportunity to learn and soak up so much information from these leaders that can help you with your decision making skills, but help you become a better leader. So think about it. If you want to become a leader worth following, do you think that you should miss this seminar? For persons who would like to have more information on how they can get involved in the Live to Lead seminar, you can always reach out to us on our social media platforms or give us a call on 223-5583, and one of our team members will be more than happy to walk you through the process of how to get registered for this impactful